Well, hello racing fans, and welcome to our first local race meeting for a new week. I trust that you, the valued racing fan, as well. We are racing at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Tuesday the 10th of June. And what we have on the go is 10 races carded. It's an early start, 11:30, and we should close things off at 16:40. As you know, Graham Hawkins is in town, so he's in studio for this preview. And I see Sugar Mountain is the horse on the front of the form guide I'm using, which is the computer form, and it was really nice to see him bounce back to some good form. Not that he was off form, he's a solid horse, but he's on the front of the computer form. Graham, 10 races on the go, first race meeting for a new week, and it looks tough.
It's competitive, but there are a few horses that I like, including one in the first race, the maiden juvenile plate over 1,000 metres. You know, Brevin Plikes and Greg Enion, they teamed up for a winner the other day, a welcome winner for Greg Enion. He had a long spell without a winner and a lot of placed runners. And I think they can get us off to a winning start here with number 2, Marquetta. There has been some anti-post support for number 2, Marquetta, now into 28-10 from an opening call of 7-2. But there are a few disclaimers. Both numbers 3, Day In, Day Out, and 4, Spirit, are having their first run as geldings. They've shown decent potential and can benefit from the gelding. And an interesting newcomer is number 8, Coco's Hero, the half-brother to Green with Envy. The indications are that number 8, Coco's Hero, is going to need the run. So I'm quite strongly in the camp of number 2, Marquetta. She shows nice, good pace. This is the minimum trip. She gets the sex allowance plus 2.5 from an inform Brevin Plikes, so she looks nicely weighted. So I'm in the camp of number 2, Marquetta, to get us off to a winning start.
Let's just keep that up. I'll give you the market. Number 2, Marquetta, now 2-1, as Graham mentioned. There is some money for that. Open up 7-2. 4, Spirit is at 9-2. 5, Marcus Aurelius at 9-2. 6, Mount Augustus at 7-1. And then the first time up, the well-bred first time, as Graham alluded to, number 8, Coco's Hero. That's trading at 8-1. But Graham's in the camp of the favorite here, number 2, Marquetta, to hopefully get punters of the top one off to a flyer. Race number 2 will begin the exotics. It's a juvenile plate for fillies, and the distance is 1,200 meters. We bring up the field, have a look at the betting. Horse number 3, Sports Fan, for Kelly Mitchley. Well, nice to see Kelly venture down to the Western Cape, and the form lines are good because I pulled them out, but is that Kabeja form line of that last start good enough to compete against these horses? Well, there's very little exposed form, but one of them is number 4, Match That, Justin Snate's runner. Graham, this horse is now trading at 7-10. There is money 8-10 into 7-10, and then the first time is 8 at 8-1, and 9 is trading at 4-1. You know, firstly, what you make of this odds-on shot, number 4?
I think that number 4, Match That, deserves to be odds on. She beat the very talented She's My World on debut. Didn't perform that well behind Dream World, but it was in the nursery. She was only beaten 3.5 lengths, but she finished 7th of 8. It was a compact field at the line, but she's highly regarded, number 4, Match That. It's nice to see Kelly Mitchley and Gavin Smith from the East Cape in town with a couple of runners. And I do have healthy respect for number 3, Sports Fan. As you mentioned, those form lines are strong. Another Dance for Me in its penultimate start ran 3rd, 3.5 lengths behind Another Dance for Me. That filly's unbeaten and reckoned to be right up there with the likes of Golden Palm and Direct Hit. So that is good form. She comes from the same family as Quick Step Gal. So the female family is alive, and I think that number 3, Sports Fan, will give a very good account of herself in this 1,200 meter contest. She hasn't been 1,200 meters before. She's shown a lot of speed. It's, of course, quite a tough 1,200 meters. The track is going to be a little bit on the soft side. We had rain on Sunday, but the weather is cleared, but it'll be a little bit on the soft side. But clearly number 4, Match That, on form, is the one to beat. 3, Sports Fan, clearly the second choice. This is the first leg of the bipod. I'd be inclined in the first leg of the bipod to include both numbers 3, Sports Fan, and 4, Match That, and not necessarily banker number 4, Match That. But then we've got to watch the market as far as number 9, Panjandrum, is concerned. She's a half-sister to 2 Grade 3 winners. She's by Rafif. very well bred. Richard Faree teams up for the Ridgemont team and for James Crawford. So if there's any money for number 9, Panjandrum, right now she's quite easy to back on debut at 9-2, but we recorded the day before, and a lot of action can still happen between now and race time. So before finalising your buy pots, keep an eye on the betting with regards to number 9, Panjandrum, because she could be anything on debut. She's very well related.
Okay, 3 and 4 for Graham, leg 1 off the buy pot, but as he mentioned, there are a few very interesting first-timers there, and the one that he's singled out is horse number 9. So we move along to the start of the place accumulator, 1240, 20-1. It's the maiden plate over 1,200 meters, and let's have a look at this. Vaughan Marshall's runner called Night Train. Hollywoodbets open up 4-1, and they've taken that. That's now 5-2. Then we got number 8, which is Palanca, at 8-1. Number 11, Future Free, at 22-10. 13, Canal Skater, at 8-1. And it's double figures, the balance. Just want to go to the front of the form guide that I'm using and see if they got a comment for this Vaughan Marshall runner. Shows good work at home. I think that is good enough. If you're showing good work at home, all you want to do is bring that homework to the track. And that sounds positive from Vaughan. And we know that with these young horses, he's got a lot to compare against as well.
Yes, and Night Rain is a full brother to Thunderstruck, who's a multiple Grade 1 winner now at stud as a stallion. So there does appear to be market confidence for number 1, Night Rain, and obviously from all bets perspectives, you've got to take note of that. My suggested bet for today is the place accumulator. I've banked number 11, Future Free, in the opening leg. It's the half brother to 8 on 18. He was all at sea on his debut. It does worry me that he might still need 1 or 2 more runs to really fulfill his potential and to grow into himself, and he might also prefer a lot more ground. But I saw enough on debut to suggest that he's going to turn the form around with number 10, Palancar. Palancar was well exposed. With natural improvement, I'm expecting number 11, Future Free, to comfortably finish ahead of number 10, Palancar. But I have to say, I'm not sure that was the strongest maiden form line, but I'd be surprised if number 11, Future Free, didn't progress enough to at least run in the top 3 from a place accumulator perspective. There's not much form to go around. There is market confidence for number 1, Night Rain, as we've mentioned, the full brother to Thunderstruck. Number 9, Waloya Yamoni, the 2-year-old newcomer by Trippy. He's a full brother to a couple of winners, nothing special. Quite easy to back at double figures in the early stages of the market. So if there is money for him, then you've got to take note. But for me, it's number 11, Future Free. Obviously the unknown, and lots of respect for the impeccably bred Night Rain. And then one to make a note of, number 16, African Memoir. Didn't run badly on debut and 4th behind 3 Tigers. That was back on the 21st of May. And he can progress from that. So for me, Future Free on exposed form is the one they all have to beat, but huge respect for number 1, Night Rain.
Okay, on pedigree, number 1, Night Train on exposed form, and watch the horse did. First up, number 11, Future Free, and I must agree with Graham. Number 16, African Memoir, is open to any amount of improvement, and that was an encouraging debut run. Race number 4, it's the big one. It's the Pick 6, 1,200 meters, the maiden plate for fillies and mares. What is happening here? I'd like to get Graham's views on this, because when I looked at this race, I think there's a lot of horses here that, jump off the page the way they're racing. They got improvement to come, because Claire de Lune, who's been very costly to follow if you've gone for her in the past, and frustrating as well, she's now at 8-10 from 9-10, but the form lines are there to see. But she always seems to just lack that confidence to put her head in front. There are horses here, Graham, and I've jotted down some of the betting as well for the ones in double figures. Number 5 is one of them. That's at 10-1 with Richard Faree up. Number 8, Miss William at 7-1. Then we got number 13, Thingamabob at 7-1. And also number 15, Red Taffety, who improved second time out at 8-1. In the Pick 6, Graham, there obviously will be, 2 ways of playing this. There will be those that are in the camp of Claire de Lune, and to give it another chance, maybe suggesting that, she's got the best form lines in the race. But this could be a race where you could get a big quartet.
Could get a nice quartet. Clearly the one to beat is number 2, Claire de Lune. She has been expensive to follow. She's had 5 starts for 4 seconds and 1 unplaced run. She's very highly regarded. She is the half-sister to Trip of Fortune. In fact, the full sister to Trip of Fortune, who was a Grade 1 winner in his own right. She's got a nice draw of 2 along the inside, so she'll have every chance under Gavin Larena, and is another suggested place accumulator banker for me. But it's interesting that the 2 that you've picked out, Eisteddfod and Red Taffety, they both come out of the electromagnetism form line, and electromagnetism came through to Franca's own form line by stepping out of that race and recording back-to-back victories, and she did it against Open Company. So we've got to have respect for both numbers 5, Eisteddfod, and 15, Red Taffety. Purely on the evidence of that last run, Red Taffety does have the measure of Eisteddfod, but Richard Ferree is a notable jockey booking for number 5, Eisteddfod. Miss William steps back in Trip. From 1,400 metres, her last 3 starts, but she did run second on debut over 1,200, so clearly William Kotwa and James Crawford's 3-year-old daughter of William Longsword has got to be respected, number 8, Miss William. Thingamabob, you know, I thought after that debut run she would win, certainly within her next 2 starts. She was tried over 1,400 metres, didn't appear to get home. Back to 1,000 metres last time, went 3rd behind American Ultra. Clearly, Thingamabob is going to win a race, and if you're going to throw in a couple to the first leg of the pick 6, if you're going to include the likes of Eisteddfod, Miss William, and Red Taffety, then you might as well throw in number 13, Thingamabob, as well. That's if you're not going to take your chances one more time with number 2, Claire de Lune. But I think Claire de Lune will get it right in this race.
Okay, Claire de Lune for Graham Hawkins. Consistency could be rewarded, and as he mentioned, for the place accumulator, a banker. Race number 5, maiden plate for fillies and mares. The distance is 1,500 metres. Number 1, Ocotello, is at 5-2. 2, Beach Queen, trading at 9-2. 3, Lady Blunt at 8-1. 4, Lady Veritas at 28-10. Equipment changes for 5 and 6. Both will have the blinkers on. 8, Given to Fly at 8-1. And 11, White Waters at 8-1. There are 2 jackpots on the day. One will be race number 5. The other will be the last 4 races on the card. So that will begin in race number 7. Graham, is the right horse on top of the boards here? Eric Sands runner with Craig Zaki up at 5-2?
I think she deserves to be favourite, but clearly I would stop short of saying she's a good thing. She's a draw strike. Again, she presents for me as a place accumulator banker, so the way I've structured the place accumulator is banker in the opening 3 legs and then going a little bit wider, but it's a skeleton perm, not a very costly perm. I think Ocotillo, now drawn in pole position, will get the run and race for Craig Zaki. She's not the easiest ride. I know that Eric has been disappointed with the fact that she hasn't yet won, but there are others with chances. Number 2, Beach Queen, Muzieni reunites with her. Good penultimate run over a similar distance, and I think that she'll run better than she did last time from a wide gate. So she also has benefited now from a better draw. She's drawn in gate 2. Lady Veritas, again, Richard Ferree teaming up with Greg Enyon, only had the 1 start. I don't think that was the deepest field, but then again, this isn't either. This maiden plate, the average merit rating is 68. That's shy of being a strong maiden. Given to Fly in White Waters, well, White Waters has been a maiden longer than has number 1, Ocotillo, and she's got an awkward draw to overcome, but if she reproduces that last run and some of her best earlier runs, then certainly for Gavin Larena and Vaughan Marshall, she could get into the action. But Ocotillo is my top choice. The one that I obviously have to respect with possible natural improvement is number 4, Lady Veritas.
Lady Veritas for the exactors and swingers, and she is the second choice in the betting market at this stage of recording. But number 1, Ocotillo, Graham thinks that she is the right horse in the race and the one that they're all going to have to beat. Race number 6, well, this is over 1,800 metres. It's a class 4. Number 1, Hampstead Heath, that's at 7-1. Horse number 2, we have a situation nicely in here with Joshua Solomon's 52.5 kgs, and that's trading at 7-1. Number 3, Lickety Split at 5-1. We got number 4, Strawberry Thief, who won a good race last time out at 7-2. Then number 5, Tap Shoes at 8-1. Money for number 6, Anti-Post, Lavender Bay, 4-1 into 7-2. 11, Beneath the Crown, is at 8-1, and it's double figures. The balance Strawberry Thief, a good fluent winner of her last start. Stable's in excellent form as well. And this horse, what do you think, Graham? Can she go back-to-back after winning last time out? Because Richard seems to get a good tune out of her.
Yeah, I think she can go back-to-back, but it's not going to be that easy for her. She is 2.5 kilograms worse off with Lavender Bay. There was a length and a half between them last time out. So I think Strawberry Thief is the younger, more improving filly. So she might be able to confirm the form, but Lavender Bay is as honest as the day is long. So 2.5 kilogram swing in the weights. Could see a reversal of that form with number 6 Lavender Bay coming home ahead of number 4 Strawberry Thief. The Snaith runners Lickety Split and Tap Shoes warrant respect, but I do think there's a lot of value to be had about the 7-1 chance number 2. We have a situation holding form really nicely. 52.5, a nice draw, getting chunks of weight from both Strawberry Thief and Lavender Bay, as well, of course, as Lickety Split and Tap Shoes. So I'm expecting we have a situation. She represents, in my mind, very good each-way value at 7-1. I think she's going to be there and thereabouts when the photographs are taken. So I've included her into the play as far as the place accumulator is concerned. I've gone with numbers 2. We have a situation, number 4 Strawberry Thief and number 6 Lavender Bay. But if you had to press me into a corner as to how I would play the race, I would center my bets around number 2. We have a situation. I think she's going to run a big race off just 52.5.
I'm going to rubber stamp that. Number 2, we have a situation. I see Brandon Galliard, his top 4 selections all come from the form line of Strawberry Thief. That's being Strawberry Thief, Lavender Bay, Lickety Split, Tap Shoes, Green Isle, and Princess of Bayou. So those are the runners that all come from that form line. 2, 4, 6 runners there. But I agree, if you're not going to be convinced of that form line, you think they're on top of each other. We have a situation at 7-1. I think Graham has picked out the right horse at the value. Race 7 is the Winter Mile over 1,600 meters. I mentioned there are 2 jackpots. This will be leg 1 of jackpot 2. Number 1, Gem King, 7-1. Number 3, Sugar Mountain. As we started at the top of the show, the picture of the horse on the cover is number 3, Sugar Mountain. 4, Mucho Dinero has been back, Graham, from 28-10 into 2-1 and races with the tongue tie on. 5, Magic Verse at 28-10. 6, Palmetier at 9-2. And then 8, Seeking the Stars is at 6-1. I mean, you just have a look at the average rating of the runners here in this Winter Mile. It's a quality race to kick things off for the week. It's on a Nelson, a 111, the average rating.
Nice race, very nice race. 2 nice features, in fact. We got the 200,000 Rand Winter Mile as race 7 and the 200,000 Rand Winter Sprint as race 8. So these 2 races certainly brighten up the card. I have to say I'm surprised there's money coming for number 4, Mucho Dinero. I've got to believe that 1,600 meters is on the sharp side. He's only ever once run over 1,600 meters. That was unplaced. Yes, the tongue tie goes on. Maybe he's shown improved work with the tongue tie back at home. He was disappointed badly last time in the Pocket Power Stakes when he was fancied to go well behind Otto Lucan and Garrix. Prior to that, of course, over 1,800 meters he ran well. We know he's won up to 2,800 meters. He's probably more of a stayer than a miler. So I'm going to swim against the tide here. I could be wrong. I'm not in the camp of number 4, Mucho Dinero. He wouldn't feature in my top 3. In fact, of the 2 Snaith runners, I prefer the chances of number 5, Magic Verse, who's at least won twice from only 3 starts over the distance and is holding form recently quite nicely. I'm going for number 3, Sugar Mountain, to record back-to-back victories. Very nice horse, wins here, becomes a millionaire, was a fluent winner last time out over 1,400 meters. He is now rising 7, but I do think you'll get a cracking good effort out of Sugar Mountain. I think 4-1 is not a bad price. The danger for me, and this is interesting, is number 1, Gem King. 7-1, a huge price. He opened up 9-2 earlier in the week. He's drifted out 7-1, whereas Mucho Dinero opened up nearly 4-1 and shortened in, as you mentioned, as the money comes for him. Gem King brings very, very good sprint form into the race. Penultimate start beat Tenango, came out to win the Golden Horse, then ran second to Tenango. But the key to this horse's chances, Dees, is it's been a long time since he's gone around the turn over a distance beyond 1,200 meters. You know, it's a 3-year-old. He won the Variety Club Mile over 1,600 metres Group 3, and he won the Legal Stakes over 1,800 metres Group 3. He won 2 legs of the Winter Series that year. So there's no doubt he stays. He's drawn in pole position. He loves the cut in the ground. He's going to get the cut in the ground. So for me, the principal threat to number 3, Sugar Mountain, is number 1, Gem King. But I do give chances to 5, Magic Verse, and 6, Prometheer, and 8, Seeking the Stars. There's only an 8-horse field. I've gone with the numbers 1 and 3 in the place accumulator. Depending on how you structure your jackpots and your pick sixes, I would lead with those 2 horses. I think they will have the measure of the Snaith Runners, Mucho Dinero, Magic Verse. If I'm wrong, it's not going to be the first time in my career. Prometheer, Richard Furry. Interesting that Richard Furry is riding for Vaughan Marshall and not Mucho Dinero gets the services of Andrew Fortune. We know that JP's got to ride Greg Borch's horse, number 5, Magic Verse. Seeking the Stars was not too far behind Sugar Mountain last time out, and prior to that, not too far behind Gem King, but certainly at the weights, they meet again at the same terms. There's no reason why Seeking the Stars should turn the form around with number 3, Sugar Mountain. So 1 and 3 for me. I'm in the camp of number 3, Sugar Mountain, but I have healthy respect for number 1, Gem King. I think he's going to run a big race.
Gem King, if you are concerned about the distance, don't be. He's done well from 1,000 to 1,800 meters. He's won twice over 1,600 meters, and whilst his recent form will suggest that better over sprints, he's a horse that's older now, and the way he's been racing of late, as Graham mentioned, 61.5 kgs, put him to sleep, and hopefully he can be doing his best work at the finish. 7-1 racing fans, another value bet, but number 3, Sugar Mountain, going to be the top choice there. Then we move along to race number 8, which is leg 2 of that jackpot. It's the Winter Sprint over 1,200 meters. And again, a quality field, average rating of a 102. Number 1, Boundless Energy at 8-1. 4, Arctic Wizard at 9-2. Number 5, Kai Boy, who I like, 33-10. 4, Global State at 7-1. Number 7, Gimme Lightning at 5-1. 9, Dance Variety at 7-1. And 10, Dumbledore. Wow, what a win last time out. Really was impressive with Richard Furry up. And Richard, each time he seems to get on the right time with his horse, number 10, Dumbledore. And he was very easy to back at 12-1. Graham, this horse, Kai Boy, for Candice Bass Robinson, he always kept me interested, you know, from the time I've seen him win. And he very seldom puts in a bad shift. An honest horse?
Very honest horse, very talented horse, 3-year-old son of One World. He'll be right in the mix, in the thick of things over the final 200 meters, but at the weights he cannot beat number 4, Arctic Wizard. I'm leaning quite strongly in a competitive race to number 4, Arctic Wizard, currently trading at around 4-1. There is money coming for Kai Boy. But that doesn't mean there aren't others with chances. You've mentioned number 10, Dumbledore. Well, when he beat Air Raid last time, he was marginally ahead of Arctic Wizard. Arctic Wizard gets some relief at the weights. But if you go back to the race on the 14th of April, then Arctic Wizard has got Kai Boy and Dumbledore and Gimme Lightning Stone Cold. And I think now that the form has turned for Greg Enion, I think Arctic Wizard here is going to be tough to beat. I think he's the leading light in a competitive and interesting race. Clear chances to 5, Kai Boy, and 10, Dumbledore, as well as 7, Gimme Lightning. And then if you're going to play it wider, don't leave out number 9, Dance Variety. He loves a cut in the ground. He's had a comeback run the other day. It was his first in about 4 months when he ran 5th behind Tanango. He's going to progress from that. Corne Orfer gets a nice tune out of him. He's usually very game and consistent, and is at his absolute best over this track and trip. Again, it's competitive. It's a really nice race. Nice stake, 200,000 rands, but I'm leaning quite strongly towards number 4, Arctic Wizard. The backup for me would be number 5, Kai Boy, and 9, Dance Variety in the place accumulator. But if you want to deepen your cover, then clearly 7, Gimme Lightning, and 10, Dumbledore. As you say, Richard Furry gets a nice tune out of Dumbledore. And if he's in the right sort of mood, he can mow them down over that last 200 meters.
Okay, I'm just giving you a few numbers there in the Winter Sprint, but if you want to call his selection a roving banker, it's number 4, Arctic Wizard. That's trading at 9-2. And Muzi Yerni, he's having a wonderful run each time he travels down to the Western Cape, 52.5 kgs. Race number 9 is a Class 5. The distance is 1,200 meters. Number 1 is trading at 4-1. Horse number 2 is firing on all engines at 3-1. 3, Lovers Lane at 4-1. 6, Sun Days at 7-2, Graham. And then we got horse number 9, Gravity, at 5-1. And we'll say double figures the balance. You know, when you look at the weights here, Graham, you know, it's 1,200 meters, and we understand that it's a class 5. So, you know, above the bench, we often see them run. So 62.5 kgs is, you know, nothing that you're going to read too much into, because the spread of weights to the bottom weights is just 54.5 with number 3, Lover's Lane. But I looked at this race, Graham, and the horse that keeps grabbing my attention is the horse that carries the 62.5 kgs, and that's number 6, Sundays.
It's time for him to win now. He hasn't won for 590 days. So I'm leading with number 6, Sundays. His last 2 starts have been pretty decent. Wherever he runs, number 1, Montlazier, shouldn't be too far behind. It may be that Montlazier would prefer an extra 200 meters, whereas I think Sundays on a softish track on his best form is quite deadly over 1,200 meters. He is a 4-time winner. He's not necessarily the easiest ride. He's got to be held up and come at them late. Number 2, Firing on All Engines, just keeps you interested all the time. He's just always there and thereabouts. He won his maiden in October 2024. He's had a huge number of starts since then in a relatively short space of time without winning, but many placed efforts. Lover's Lane cannot be relied on, but if he repeats his last run, he's got a chance. I think this might be slightly stronger than when he got beat by Avignon last time. Gravity won a nice race over Champagne Mac last time out. He wasn't fancied. In fact, we were quite strongly in his camp, Gravity, on that occasion. Brevin Plikes rode him there. Brevin Plikes rides him again. So you take the 2.5 off the 57, and he's carrying 54.5, and that brings certainly Gravity into the chance of going back-to-back. Not a feat that I thought Gravity would ever do, go back-to-back in his career, because if you look at his overall profile, it doesn't suggest he's going to win 2 on the trot, but the manner of that victory was emphatic. However, all of that being said, Sunday's top choice for me, ahead of 2 Firing on All Engines and 1 Montlazier. The only other 2 runners I think that are worthy of any form of consideration for jackpot players and pick 6 players would be number 3, Lover's Lane, and 9, Gravity. But I'm leaning towards number 6, Sundays.
Okay, Graham, expecting a result to go to form. If the betting is a guide here, the more fancied runners should dominate the last leg of the pick 6. The last leg of jackpot 2 is race number 10. It's a class 4 for fillies and mares, and it's 1,000 meters. Horse number 1, Sugar Bush, Unre Nell, Platinum Racing, Corne offer up at 8-1. They've removed the cheek pieces on number 4, and blinkers are on, so that's an equipment change. 4 Poetic Princess is at 6-1. 5 Peace of Mind is at 9-2. 6 Love Story at 7-1. 7 Pink Pigeon is at 15-10, and 8 Golden Tatiana is at 9-2. Well, the one thing that I will tell you, that there's been lots of discussion and debate about peace of mind and distance. So they decided to go for those 1,100-meter races at the last 2 starts, but Michelle Ricks was adamant that there is a race coming up in the beginning of June over 1,000 meters that she thinks the filly will win. But they've allowed her to race just to keep her racing fitness on top. And she's run one good race with Gavin, which was a 2nd. 1,000 meters, I'm certain that this horse will shorten from what I've heard. Number 5, Peace of Mind. So at 9-2, going over 1,000 meters, now that Gavin Arena has got the hang of things with his partner 3 times for a win in a 2nd, I'll make her the filly to beat your Graham at 9-2.
She's very speedy, as we know, so I'm not quite sure what happened last time when she failed to jump, when the field was always at the back, and so I think you need to draw a line through that. Judger on the penultimate start went 2nd to Tanneron. Now, that was also over 1,100 metres, and as you've said, she's far more deadly over the minimum trip of 1,000 metres. There's going to be no short of speed here, because the same comment applies to number 8, Golden Tatiana. Now, she's dropped another 2 pounds in the ratings, plus gets Brevin Plikes 2.5 off. So she's carrying 53.5, whereas Peace of Mind's got 60. And these 2 both love to go out to the front. Which one is going to win the early speed duel? I'm not certain. Perhaps Gavin will allow Peace of Mind to take a toe off Golden Tatiana, but I think Golden Tatiana is a huge runner, as I do think that number 5, Peace of Mind, is a huge runner. I can see the race mapping out Golden Tatiana going absolutely flat out, possibly too fast even for Peace of Mind. Will get a toe in second. But there's no doubt that Pink Pigeon is a decent filly. She sets a standard. She might be too short in the market at 15-10. This will be her peak run. She should be cherry ripe. It's her third run after quite a long rest. She ran 4th behind Tanneron. There's form around other horses there. She ran 2nd to Babalicious. She should be cherry ripe. She also steps back from 1,100 metres to 1,000 metres. But perhaps Peace of Mind and Golden Tatiana will just be too speedy for Pink Pigeon, although I do think that Pink Pigeon will be running on really strongly at the end. Those 3 for me kind of dominate the race. You've got to give some sort of chance, trifectas, exactas, quartets for Sugar Bush, number 1, number 2, the Charleston, and number 4, Poetic Prince. But I think the winner will come from one of number 5, Peace of Mind, 7, Pink Pigeon, and 8, Golden Tatiana. It's going to be an interesting race because that early speed duel, it's going to be interesting to see who's in front at the halfway mark. I fancy that it might be Golden Tatiana going too quick for Peace of Mind. But if they both go too fast, then Pink Pigeon could be the one to come and grab them.
Okay, good assessment to close things off. The last leg of Jackpot 2, you got the 3 horses that you need to include, 5, 7, and 8 for Graham Hawkins as we close the book and hand over to Graham for his suggested bet on this Tuesday, and it's a place accumulator.
Thank you, Dees. We focused on the early part of the card and a couple of nicely bred newcomers, the half-brother to Green with Envy, the full brother to Thunderstruck, and of course 8 and 18's half-brother running in the third race, which is the first leg of the place accumulator. So I'm bankering number 11, Future Free. I don't think it was the strongest race that he ran in on debut, but he got completely lost early on, came storming home, will turn the form around with Palancar, but obviously here's where number 1, Night Rain, the full brother to Thunderstruck, runs. So if you want to include one, I wouldn't put you off it. This is a skeleton perm with 3 opening bankers. Second leg banker number 2, Claire de Lune. Again, there are others. She's been costly to follow, but I'd be surprised if she was beaten out of the top 3. Third leg banker number 1, Ocatello, a bit of a draw strike. I wouldn't be putting the rent on her from a win perspective, but again, I'd be surprised if she didn't at least run into the top 3. Then numbers 2, 4, and 6, we have a situation. Strawberry Thief and Lavender Bay. I do think that we have a situation at around 7-1 offers good each way value. The Winter Mile going with numbers 1, Gem King and Sugar Mountain. Penultimate leg, the Winter Sprint, going with number 4, Arctic Wizard, who's my clear top choice, but I'm including numbers 5, Kai Boy, and 9, Dance Variety. Last leg, race 9, off at 16-10. It is a 10-race program, but the last leg of the place accumulator going with numbers 1, Montloisier, 2, Firing on All Engines, and my top choice, number 6, Sundazed.
Graham, just shying away from Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, thanks for your input and your effort that you put into the race card, but you know, with your racing brain and your experience and the fact that you've been involved and associated with the Hollywoodbets Durban July for a long, long time. We saw the running of the Cup Trial, the Hollywoodbets Gold Challenge. We saw the running of the Jubilee on Sunday, and that is it about now, besides, you know, maybe Track and Ball Day, which is the Derby and the Oaks, but it's about done now with regards to qualification races, isn't it?
Pretty much so. Yeah, the Derby and the Oaks, but I'm not sure how many are in those races that are even on the list of entries for the Hollywoodbets Durban July. I have to say I was thoroughly impressed with the performance of Oriental Charm in the Gold Challenge. He's just a horse that refuses to lie down. You know, when Dave the King slipped through along his inside, I thought Dave the King was going to put him to bed quite comfortably. We hadn't seen Oriental Charm since January. He had made the early running, and when he started fighting back over the last 200 metres, I thought, well, what do we have here? And then, of course, Gladiatorian came storming home. So Gladiatorian is interesting as well, because will he go 2,200 metres? But he's done absolutely nothing wrong in his career. We know that Dave the King, of course, doesn't have the Hollywoodbets Durban July on his radar, but you had to be impressed with the way Oriental Charm fought back, and he'll be a lot more comfortable over 2,200 metres. He races this year of a much higher rating than he did last year. So, you know, the Hollywoodbets Durban July is always interesting. We wait for the draws, we wait for the weights to be published. But of those that performed over the weekend, of course, it was hugely disappointing that we didn't see the equator. Mike de Kock thinks a lot of Immediate Edge. He really does. And when Mike speaks, we listen. And I chatted to him before the Jubilee, and he said to me, Graham, this is a proper horse. He didn't act in the ground in the Derby. You didn't see the best version of him there. Don't judge him on that. Yes, he carried bottom weight in a grade 3 handicap. He's going to have to step up his game hugely. It'll be interesting to see whether he accepts at the second declaration stage and what the second Hollywoodbets Durbanville log is going to look like. But of those that ran over the weekend, of course on Friday, My Best Shot, and then Oriental Charm.
Thanks to Graham for his thoughts on what's to come in under a month's time. Can you believe it? We're already there. It is under a month for Africa's premier horse racing event, the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Lots will be debated over the next few weeks, and when that final field comes out with the draws, etc., there will be hard luck stories, but we know the horses that have already qualified. And to you, the valued racing fan, if you are playing on this Tuesday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, have a blast, find all the winners, and hopefully it turns out to be a good start to a new week. For Graham Hawkins, Gallop TV, and myself, Dees Dianan, until we meet again, you take care. Salani Gashle.